Good afternoon, ladies and men folk, and anyone else who happens to join in and watch. You're joining us for Word Ninja's live episode 31. Good Lord. All right, joining me today is our IT extraordinaire, Calvin.
Hello, everybody.
And Justin is playing the Phantom, as he is currently busy with work shenanigans and probably will not be able to join us at all. And then you have your instigator of literary insanity, myself, Charles. Hello. All right. It's probably going to be a comparatively short episode since we only have a few people on today, but the show must go on, or whatnot.
Or something like that.
Something like that. Bear with us while we tinker with a few new hardware and software fiddly bits. I'm running off of a new mic and a semi-upgraded PC compared to the Mac, so hopefully things will play nice long enough for all of this to work.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Yeah. This thing does not have the most reliable internet connection, but it's pretty good lately. Hopefully it'll play nice. And I doubled the RAM, so I think it's a little happier now.
Ah, very good. That's the thing that makes PCs happy.
Yeah, now the lowest end piece is the graphics card, which is still relatively respectable.
As long as it can output something, this way, hey, who cares?
Yeah. Alright, let's get things rolling with some talkie points.
Excellent.
We don't really have overly serious ones for this week. Not that we ever do. But let's do talkie point number 1. How do you convey tone in dialogue? E.g., emotions, sarcasm, seriousness, joking, etc. I don't even remember what instigated that question. Probably because I've been going on a reading spree again.
Another reading page.
Yeah, I went through one book on Friday, one book yesterday, and I'm only 26 pages in the next one for today. That doesn't really count.
I actually recently brushed off my tablet since I've been kind of neglecting it because of the laptop madness, and I opened up my Kindle app because I wanted to get a handle on some of the books that I've bought last year. And good God, I bought a lot of books. I realized that a 10-inch tablet, as awesome as it is not very useful. Sadly enough, I think it might be due to the fact that it's freaking heavy. But I'll figure out how to knock out all those books. Alright, now back to the talking point.
Oh, so that's what was eating up all my bandwidth. The live stream was playing in the background.
Oh!
That'll do it. Alright, that should make things a little cleaner.
Okay, good.
Did you want to take this talkie point on first, or shall I ramble for a while?
I'll let you ramble on this one for a little bit.
Alright. What were my notes? Let's see here. I feel like conveying tone as to characters' emotions or what they're feeling at any given time does help create a more in-depth character and plot and makes for more fun reading, but it is hard to do. I tend to add facial expressions, like my character is smirking or scowling. Some can say that's a little tacky, depending on the style of writing that you're doing or just how much you do it. If you go to the level of Eye of Argon for facial details and how characters are acting, it gets a bit silly. And yes, it is an entertaining read, but you're not going to get that published very easily. There is a balance to be found somewhere amongst that all. And if you flesh your character out enough, then their general actions can help just build their personality. Like, if your character disarms someone else with a pretentious flick of their sword and say, "You're not worthy of playing with." Something like that, if your character is built enough, can convey a lot of meaning and tone as to what the character is feeling, and that the person they're up against isn't really much of a threat, so they'll probably move the plot on comparatively quickly. Just little simple things like that can really add a lot of depth to a story and make for a much more engaging read. Or at least that's what I've found.
I've kind of found myself like making light of like, trying to figure out how to convey tone. Like I understand like adding like verbal facial expressions and things like that to like flavor like your character personality and things like that. I gotta go with your second point where you were saying like your actions of the character build the personality. For example, in the story that I wrote, one of the characters was like fairly aggressive, and basically her words like made up the tone of her aggressiveness, and also her actions, due to the fact that she liked to punch people a lot. So I gotta agree with you on helping build the character's personality, and that for me is what helps me like set dialogue and things like that.
And for our viewers and listeners out there, what do you do in regards of conveying tone amongst your characters, or what have you seen in other books and series and from other writers? Post in the comments. Let us know. There's only 2 of us today. We want to continue the conversation with others.
Yes. Please.
We are not antisocial, I swear.
Well, not anymore.
It's one of the problems of when most of us have jobs that require us to work when they tell us to. Sometimes that includes weekends.
Thankfully, this only happened to me a handful of times with my current job.
And hopefully it won't happen to me anytime soon.
I mean, you work enough during the week.
I've counted it at anywhere between 50 to 65 hours at its worst between the 2 positions. I mean, the day job is an average 40, but this, depending on just how much I'm doing at any given time, adds up quickly.
Oh, I know that one from personal experience. Work all day, code all night. I've no time for like other creative. It makes me sad.
And just out of paranoia, because you're actually around, so I can poke you if necessary, presuming this doesn't kill my bandwidth, is the FC Writers site up today? Survey
Let's
says
see.
maybe.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's see if it's going to be up later.
I think I actually figured out why the SQL server keeps going down. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to fix it. So, if you can bear with me, I'll figure it out soon.
When in doubt, use lots of duct tape.
Sadly, there's no duct tape function still.
Well, nuts.
Otherwise, I'd use that long ago. shall we continue?
Yes. Talkie point number 2. These what-if scenarios are kind of fun, so I thought I'd toss in another one for this week. What if your characters had an unlimited budget for a 24-hour period? What would they purchase or use the money on, and why?
This one a little bit. For the character from the hacker story I wrote a while back, yeah, all that money would go to either computer parts, new computers, new ways, figuring out new ways of like breaking into stuff without getting noticed, networking software and hardware, musical instruments. Oh yeah, lots of musical instruments. Guitars, basses, stereo equipment. Basically any, and can cause trouble. Because, well, basically because he can. He probably go like a full-on supermarket sweep of Best Buy, Radio Shack, and wherever he can get anything he can get his hands from. Oh yeah, that would get costly pretty, and he would have it no other way. Let's see. I think of any other characters. I think that that me and Will went start about once upon a time, and I'm still trying to progress into drawing one day. Like I did in probably computer Jin last time. Computer parts and music equipment. Sounds about right.
So basically everything that you would buy.
That's better. I would go for bourbon and scotch. The really expensive scotch that is aged for like 4 years.
So basically whatever Justin has in his stash.
Yes. And an unconscionable abundance.
Ooh, that's a good response. Jessica replies, I would buy the rights to all the animes in the world and a lifetime supply of Nutella.
Nice. I like that.
I didn't even think of buying rights to things. That's actually would be a lot of fun. That too.
Okay, if you buy right, oh no, Jessica shouldn't have told me that. I would. Oh, because I would become ultimate patent troll and like buy patents under the noses of every single company I could think of. All the royalties are belong to me now. That's what I would do.
Let's see, where are my notes? I only did 4 characters. I didn't really want to answer for the 50 billion ones that I have. But from the slash and burn zombie apocalypse universe, Slash only response was all the wine. because he is a filthy wino. Although I don't think he'd get all of the wine because he is actually a wine snob, so only the fancy wine. I don't think he'd go for the cheap stuff. No boxed wine for him. I tossed in Burn because, I mean, it's the Slash and Burn universe, but Burn did not care to give me a response. She has no idea what she would buy with an unlimited budget, which was very disappointing. Mainly because she already has all of the weapons that she wants, and she has Ivy when she's not comatose and dying. So I guess she doesn't really want to purchase anything. As
Not
for
even
my,
any. Not even any.
I didn't catch that. My internet is spazzing.
I was saying, Byrne wouldn't be interested in any Tom Anderson weapons.
Chances are she already has most of them.
Ah,
But yeah, that would actually be a good response.
I'm kind of jealous. I'd like to have just one of them.
Well, with an unlimited budget, you could get one of everything.
I wonder if any of my characters would be interested in any Tom Anderson weapons. I think
Could you
he has like.
trust any of them with a Tom Anderson weapon?
I barely trust in his instruments. So I've kind of gone away and just let them do whatever they want. It's not up to me anymore.
Let's see, from my Steampunk Tea Shop Assassins plot from the 2013 Nano, which I still need to finish. The plot is done, it just really needs some fleshing out. Skyliera, the FMC, her response was some new transference stones, since she kind of blows up the main ones, an entire wardrobe, one not smelling of lavender, and an embarrassing amount of tea. I kind of agree with her on that one.
There's a website that I have to show you. I'll tell you about it after the hangout. There's this there's random design idea. It was very, 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 very awesome, and I have to show it to you.
And the last character I tossed in, only Calvin really would get the reference, but I put in Chartep from the most spastic Nano I've ever done, and hopefully ever will do. He was just this. If that story were ever to get published, he would be the iconic imp, but hopefully that story never sees the light of day. But his only response was to hop up and down and shout, "All the cheese cubes!"
Yeah, that little bastard loved cheese cubes. Nothing, like, I don't think he had a preference. Cheese, just a specific shape of cheese, and like an unconscionable abundance of it.
Yeah, as long as they were cube-shaped, he didn't care what flavor. Or size, for that matter. Let's see, Tom also replied, his character, Megan, is a teacher in a book he's working on. She would buy supplies for students enough to earn a statue, and then buy a really big party for students and teachers. Shots! 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 Why are you giving your students shots? Either alcoholic or medicinal.
Because why not?
I mean, unless they're all medical students, then I can kind of understand the medical shots, although that would be painful.
Interesting. That sounds kind of like a very strange Roblox party of some sort. You'd go to like raid the hospital for all the various pharmacological goods and just put stick and it doesn't do.
Let's see. I think that covers all the current viewers, but if you're watching this in the future, hello, future peoples, by all means, post your responses to our talkie points in the comments below. Continue our conversations so we can be social.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we do not have a third talkie point for this week, unless there's something you can think of off, like just on the fly.
I got nothing, unfortunately. I am already know.
Okay, do that. Then I guess we can roll on to the highlights reel for the week.
That.
Every week we like to highlight a book or author, a YouTube user, and a website. Unfortunately, I do not have a book or author to highlight at the moment. I did not think that far ahead. Oh, let's do this one since it's on my desk. And it's within easy reach. This is The Demon Lord of Karanda, Book 3 of the Malorian Quintology by David Eddings. It is the second quintology that he wrote. It is the sequel to the Belgorod Quintology that I am obsessed with and read probably every 3 years or so. I already read the first 2 books this weekend again. Oh, wow, this is from 1988. Good lord. Yeah, David Eddings did a lot of series. He did the Belgorod and Malorian quintologies. He did the Tamulai and Illunium trilogies, which are similar in scope, but different characters, different universe. He's done some really good one-off books, like Regina's Song, which is fantabulous, and you should definitely check that one out. He also wrote The Losers, I think it was, but I never did actually finish that one. And the last series that he did before he passed away was The Dreamers, I want to say it was. It's the only series I have not finished from him, mainly because I was reading them as they were coming out, and then I lost interest. I think that one is a 4, possibly 5 book series. I forget offhand, but that one's completely finished, so you can check that one out too. You can find them everywhere. They're in every Barnes & Noble's, Books A Millions. Borders doesn't exist anymore, so Amazon, etc. He's kind of close to a cult classic in that he's not overly popularly known, but those that do know him tend to like his works. So there is your impromptu book and author highlight of the week. Ta-da! Alright. I'm going to cross my fingers and pray that this screen share works and doesn't spaz out too much.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Alright, the YouTube highlight user of this week is the Books and Quills. This person does effectively daily posts, occasionally with a co-host, various books to be read. She does book hauls, book reviews, a little bit of everything. And they're nice and like quick and short videos, so they don't take too much of your day, but they are definitely entertaining and worth checking out. And she does have a book blog Tumblr that she links to in her header, booksandquills.tumblr.com. The images are not showing up for her other social media, but it looks like they are there. My internet's just spazzing out. But I've watched a fair amount of the videos now, and she is pretty entertaining, so I highly recommend subscribing to her for future posts. Because one can never have too many YouTube channels about book reviews and other stuff. And the website of this week is Goodreads. Oh, why did that stop sharing? Share, dang you. I command you. There we go. Goodreads. A fair portion of readers and writers are familiar, or at least have heard of this site at this point. I'm still relatively new to the whole place, but it seems to be a great place to hear about any and every single book in existence across time, possibly even into the future for all I know. It does seem to be semi-magical. But you can basically search for books, authors, styles, genres, etc. You can friend other users to figure out what they're reading. You can mark books that you want to read, that you have read. You can review them. You can do all sorts of crazy things. I have not really done too much with it, and I don't know if it'll load the next page. Hooray! I've only done a few things, mainly with David Eddings and Devin Monk, my two main obsessions. But it's definitely a very cool site if you want to kind of keep track of your books, or if you want to create a book list of what you're going to read per year. Kind of like how I'm doing 100 books for 2014. And I think I'm on book 10 now, give or take. I got to double check the count. But this is a convenient way of kind of keeping track, and if you want to share what you're reading throughout the year or have read, etc., this seems to be a good way of going about it. And for any viewers or listeners out there, if you have an account or have used it or know anything about it, by all means, post a comment of your opinions about it. Do you enjoy Goodreads, or is it not really your thing? I, for one, find it very entertaining. I just haven't looked at it for a little while now. I got distracted by other shiny baubles.
I really haven't had the chance to check out Goodreads much either, but like I'm pretty impressed by like the robustness of this site, and just kind of entertained by the fact that somebody to cross social and reading into something significant and useful. So I say kudos to the people behind Goodreads.
Out of curiosity, what writing books did they have? They have many. Search all the results. How many does it give you? 60,836. Okay, then.
Is that all?
I would have to narrow that down some, but that is a pretty impressive search engine if it gives you that many just off the top. Well then. Yeah, definitely a site worth checking out if you have not already. And if you have, let us know what you think of it, or oops. How would you go about friending us? Friends! Find friends from blah 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 blah. Find by name or email. I'm actually logged in under my personal one, but maybe it would be worth creating a full coverage writers one that we can share with others. That way all of us can use it.
I'd be for that.
Yeah, let's add that to the to-do list. I think that would be actually kind of fun. And it would be interesting to see other Goodreads members, what they're reading compared to us collectively.
I'm ready to say, yeah, we could pull all our book readings together and see what kind of fun we for at all.
Okay, I can apparently not add that to the show notes because it froze. Let's try that again. Technical difficulties.
Good times. Good times.
FCW Goodreads account of Doom. All right.
Enough follows.
Yeah. You can add them. All right, that covers the highlights reel for this week, which means that it's time for goals. How did people's goals go for this week and last? Unfortunately, we were not able to touch base with our other members in regards to their goals from last week or this one. But as for my goals from last week, outline workshops of Doom. I did not do that.
Oh.
Coordinate movie reviews. They have been coordinated and done.
Woohoo.
And the first one has actually been posted. Tech level up. I have doubled the RAM on my PC. Now all I need to do is figure out why the internet is so spazzy. I think some software needs to be trimmed off of it. It has some funky things on it. And then do 3 blog drafts. I outlined 1 and I conceptualized 2. That's close enough of a success to leave it be for the moment. How did your goals go for last week?
I had to look at my goals from the previous week since I wasn't around last week.
Yeah, I don't think I touched them much.
And it reminded me that I was supposed to work on intro graphics for the movie and book reviews, which were a rousing success. Yay!
Huzzah! Yeah, the book review intro and outro will probably be utilized possibly later today if I can get the recordings formatted in time.
Ah, sweet. Actually kept around the original version of the movie reviews in case we start posting any ourselves.
All right. And you will have to do some more intro and outro stuff for future secret projects of secretness that we shall discuss off air, because there's multiple projects now that I want to try and keep secret until they're farther along and actually going to happen. Because I'm tired of teasing people with, look at this cool thing that we're going to do, and then we don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah, more stuff will be coming down the pipeline, or else.
Yes. We need to just stop being lazy and just get to it already.
Yeah. All right. For the goals of this week, I need.
I didn't mention my other goal that I was able to accomplish.
Oh yeah.
The RSS feed for the podcast is complete. Fucking finally, freaking A.
Or at least complete enough that we can now start tinkering with it and add what needs to be added.
Yes.
And I need to review that with you off air to make sure that I formatted it correctly and didn't mess it up.
Okay, no problem.
I'm 99% sure that I did not mess it up, but it is me after all.
We'll we'll make sure everything's everything.
Yeah, and there are some back-end bandwidth logistics that I want to question you about as well, for some even crazier secret plottings of plottiness.
No problem. No problem. No problem. We'll talk about it after the show.
Yes. So it's been a pretty good week for us, all things considered.
Yeah, it really has.
Hooray! Hopefully this week can be just as productive.
I have set the bar low this week.
I have not. My goals for this week, I need to do a blog draft for my day job. I need to do a blog draft for full coverage writers, both of which are outlined and semi-drafted even, but they need to be completed. I need to do episode 2 and 3, actually, of the Not Suitable for Word Ninjas podcast. 2 is almost done. Episode 3 I just need to listen to make sure I don't need to cut anything too embarrassing out. I should make that plural. So there are secret Word Ninja Live and full coverage writer projects of doom. That's a lot of those happening. I need to make sure that those progress and figure out that FCW Goodreads account of minimal doom.
Of doom.
Yes. So all in all, a busy week.
Let's see, my goals for the coming week. Number 1, survive. I barely made it last week, but somehow I did, and I'm very thankful for that. Hopefully this week will be much better.
Yeah, no dying allowed.
No, I don't plan on it. Reaper's gonna have to do a little better than last week. Now, my 2 goals for this week are consider working on music. I know there have been at least 3 occasions on the live show where I've said, oh, I've had this idea for a song and I'm going to work on it and it's going to be great, it's going to be fucking awesome and shit like that, and none of them have been even worked on.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear some of the songs you talked about last year.
Yeah.
From like episodes 3 and 7, all the way back then.
So that goes into my creative goal for this week. Actually work on music.
Yay, music.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of good songs that I've completed, but there's more to be done. And my brain keeps working more and more, and my idea folder is getting enormous. It's like one of those comedic inboxes full of just stuff, nothing in the outbox. That's how it feels right now. So, yeah, I'll be working on that. Well, try to anyway.
Or we shall all make fun of you next week.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Let's see. What else we got here? According to the notes we got, unless you have any other goals that you couldn't think of?
Those are the main ones of concern.
Okay. So right now we have upcoming events.
Yay. They're the same events that we've been talking about for the past month or 2. We haven't really added any. There is QuinnyCon at Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut, coming up March 1st and 2nd. That's actually getting comparatively close.
Yeah.
That is a free convention, so why don't you go if you're within the area? The 2 of us actually are going to Book Expo America in May. That's going to be exciting. That one is not free. That one is
Garment.
legitimately expensive if you are just a reader and not. If you're an author, it's still actually kind of expensive. But if you're a vendor or company, it's semi-manageable.
I'm excited about that one too, and a little intimidated as well.
Well, just because you're going to be going to booths for like Penguin and Random House and all of the big publishers, and there's going to be dozens, if not 100 or so authors there with their books. We still have a few months to panic about that.
Is it bad that I've started to panic now?
You might tire yourself out before we get there, though, if you start this early.
I'm hoping to get all the panic out before we actually go. I figured I'd get a head start.
99% of the people there are very nice and very accommodating. There's only 1% where it can get a bit awkward. We'll try to avoid those people.
Alright, cool.
And hopefully we can get some interviews set up with some of the publishers and agents and authors while we're there. I don't think we'll get any live stuff happening because it's at the Javits Center. You're not going to get a quiet space, period. It's just not happening. It's going to be noisier than our interview with C.J. Henderson.
Oh,
so if we manage to get any interviews, they're going to be scheduled after the convention.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. And then, of course, Connecticon in July. The panels have been submitted for that. I just have to wait to hear back as to which ones have been accepted. Hopefully not all of them, because then I would have to panic. But we shall see.
It'll be most entertaining either way.
Indeed. And just to toss it out there, if any one of our viewers or listeners, has a convention or event that they want to see full coverage writers at, either as a vendor or just as an attendee to have shenanigans, by all means, email us, let us know, so we can take a look, see what it's about, if we can get one of our people there, if not multiples. We are based 90% out of Connecticut. Calvin is the exception.
Of course, I had to be the odd man out, but hey, whatever.
But yeah, if it's in New York or Connecticut, chances are we can figure out how to get there and do something without too much fuss. If it's farther out than that, then no guarantees, but we will look into it, so do let us know. I mean, I've gone as far out as Atlanta for MomoCon. Admittedly, that was a special occasion, but we do get out here and there.
There's more reasons to get away from our space.
Yes. And hopefully if we do go that far afield in the future, it does not freaking blizzard on that day. I did not appreciate waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, driving 20 miles an hour on the Merritt behind a plow just to get to the Westchester Airport, where the plane took 2.5 hours to de-ice just so we could get out. That was not fun.
Oh, man. Oh.
And then I get to Atlanta and it's like 75 degrees and not a cloud in the sky.
Good times?
Yes. Let's go with that.
Oh, yeah.
And looking at the comments, Tom says, "Tell Calvin he did a great job with the intro and outro for our review video. Go, Calvin!"
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any way we can actually screen share the intro, possibly, maybe? I've always wondered about that.
You would have to. It would have to be on your end. I know my internet isn't stable enough at the moment to pull video, but theoretically, if you load up the video and try to screen share that, it might work. What do we got next? We can maybe plow through the writing prompts for this week while you get that prepped, and we can give it a try after that.
Okay.
If you're up for it.
I can try. Is it in this folder?
Should give you enough time. Let's see here. Meanwhile, time for writing prompts. Every week we provide writing prompts for you in the form of Muse Food. We give you 10 one-liners, we give you 10 one-worders, and we give you a combination of Rory's Story Cubes dice. We are not owned and are not sponsored by Rory Story Cubes. We just have a lot of fun with them. And you should too. Let's see here. And then we go over to the screen share. I like that the screen share is actually working this week. All right. This week, we only have 2 of us, so I'll take the wordy bits, and then Calvin can have the story cubes to give you more time to fiddle.
All right, cool.
All right. This week's one-liners are: clean your room before it attracts the birds again. No more coffee for you. Sounds like someone fell down the hole again. Yeah, the second line is like my life lately.
Second line was me on Wednesday. No more homemade mochas for me. Oof.
The other one-liners are: it's a simple surgery, really. I look incredible. There's only 1 week left. Our fundraiser is lowering your funds. I'm not a nerdy geek. I'm a geeky nerd. Stop being ridiculous and give Mother Nature a cookie before it gets even worse outside. Some corner a market. I prefer a rounding one. I can only imagine what that would actually entail. All right, and our one-worder writing prompts for this week are: life, crush, radioactive, breathe, dwarf, morning, duke, bust, video, and flag. Make of those what you will. And now, time for the Story Cubes interpretation.
All right. Let's see what we have here. We have, depending on which perspective you look at, a left or right hand facing in either direction. We have somebody, it looks like somebody peeking nervously through a door. We have somebody getting narrowly missed by a falling ball or hard round object. Somebody merrily enjoying in ski. We have a looking character. We've got a nervous face. We have somebody, it looks like, offering a present or a gift of some sort. We have somebody throwing the ball, and we have one of the arrows you can shoot that is. And those are your story cubes for this week.
And as always, you can use any or all or even none of these writing prompts. They're merely meant as an extra resource for your muse when it is tired and cranky. If you happen to create a short piece or flash fiction based off of any of these writing prompts, we would love to read it. We do like to read fan mail and short pieces and whatever people toss at us. We're always up for being entertained. If you want to share any piece that you write, you can email us the piece or the URL where we can read it over at wordninja@fcwriters.com, conveniently at the bottom of the MuseFood posts. All right, and with that, come on. Now you can take me off the screen share. There we go.
All right, so I have the two videos set up. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if the sound will play, and the sound is kind of an integral part to both videos. So I guess excuse me. The best we're gonna have to do is link people to the where they can see the intros, see and hear them, the respective videos and whatnot.
Where could they go do so?
Well, I believe you mentioned that Tom's movie reviews have been uploaded, so if you can link the fair people to his movie reviews, and you said the book review might be up in the next few hours or a day or so.
Where is that? Aha! I will add this. I will add the movie review URL to the show notes and on the FC Writers page so people can find that. But the YouTube user where the movie reviews are going to be posted, we already have a good dozen or so movies that we're going to do collectively.
Nice.
The YouTube user is Borgit, or I don't know how to pronounce that one actually. It's Bourguit. And currently we have a review posted on the I, Frankenstein tragedy. Yeah.
Oh, jeez, that bad.
You'll have to watch the review to find out just what we both collectively think of it. It's special. But yeah, we have a good dozen or so more movies coming this year that we are going to review. Some of them we're both going to see the movie. Some of them, one of us is only going to see the trailer and then review the trailer compared to the movie, which we did for I, Frankenstein because I did not see it. And it actually provided some very interesting commentary between the two of us. It's also convenient because there are some movies that I don't want to see, and there are some movies that he doesn't want to see. So between the two of us, we can cover a lot.
Ah, there it is. I found it.
Yeah, we will link to that in our show notes. I'll fix that after this video ends. Okay, so we've done all of that. Now we get down to the brought to you by segment, which is nice and quick and easy. This week we are brought to you by Full Coverage Writers, because that's who owns the Word Ninjas live show. Full Coverage Writers is a repository of resources for writers. To check out past episodes of Word Ninjas Live, our reading recommendations, author interviews, and more, go to fcwriters.com. And we are relatively certain that we are fixing the issues with why it is down almost every other time we check, hopefully.
I'm working on it.
So when you do go check out fcwriters.com, chances are it will actually be there. And we are also...
And database connection errors. They're starting to annoy me.
Yeah, those things are getting a little tedious.
First time it was okay, but now it's just do not want.
Yeah. And we are also partnered with the Fairy Tale Podcast. The Fairy Tale Podcast is a weekly live stream hosted on Monday nights at around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, although they're hosted in not Eastern Standard Time. I'm blanking on where it is now. Meh.
Central?
Yeah. Go check out their channel for manga and fanfic dubs, cosplay reviews, and more. And chances are I will be on their episodes since I am Makarov. Yay. Although I usually bail early because for me it's like 11:30 at night and they're still going strong, and I am not. I do play an old man after all, so.
The old man has to get some sleep.
Yes. Alright. While this show is privately funded, you are able to show your own appreciation in multiple ways. The easiest is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch our videos, you can click that thumbs up button, you can comment, continue our conversations, keep the dialogue going. If you want extra credit, you can go over to fcwriters.com, go to the Word Ninjas Live page, and donate an amount of your choice via the convenient PayPal button. All donations go towards our various endeavors to provide engaging content for creative people everywhere. And if some of our secret shenanigans actually happen, we are going to be providing a lot of content this year. We do have 3 tiered donation levels, depending on the amount that you are interested in. If you donate $1, you get a shout-out on a future episode. So you can promote your own site, your social media account, podcast, or you can just say hello. If you up that to $5, you can ask a talkie question or do a highlight of some sort. So if there's something you want us to banter about or dig into, $5 will get us talking. And if you go all out and donate $10, you can sponsor an entire episode and join us. So if you want to join in our conversations live, $10 will get you in. And of course, you can suggest a talkie point or highlight or just shout out while you're on the stream, whatever. We're pretty good about that.
I certainly won't object.
As long as it's in line with all of YouTube's various rules and policies and whatnots. But that goes hopefully without saying, even though we've just said it.
He's trying to drive the point.
Yes. Please do not get us banned from YouTube if you join us for an episode. We would be sad.
And you'd have to give your looks to eternity.
Alright. That actually wraps up this week's episode, unless you have any last-minute commentary you'd like to toss in.
This about covers me.
Yeah, and nothing new from the comments. So I guess it's time to wrap things up. Where can people find us on the internets? Since I always go last, it's Calvin's turn.
Alright, you may complain to me whenever the site is down at the email address thewebmaster@fcwriters.com. You can find me at the music website Riffraff. The website is riffraff.net, riffraf.net. You can find my personal website and portfolio at calvin.cwillia.ms. That's calvin.cwillia.ms. You can find me on Tumblr at instacal.tumblr.com. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ccwii. And that about covers it.
Alright, as for myself, you can track me down on Twitter at silver_wolf85. That's the number, like the actual number is 85, not spelled out. Don't make that mistake. I've tried reviving that. It's a little slow going, but that is probably the only social media account that is actually just me and not Full Coverage Writers based. But as for Full Coverage Writers, we're everywhere. Our website, as we've said a lot, is fcwriters.com. For social media, you can track us down over at Tumblr at fcwordninja.tumblr.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. Our literary Twitter handle is at fcwordninja. And for anything and everything else, you can just email us at wordninja@fcwriters.com. And with that, it is time to sign off for another week. We will see you all next Sunday for episode 32.
Woohoo!
I'm excited for episode 33. Double numbers are always fun.
Got anything special planned?
Not yet, but maybe we can figure something out.
All right. We'll talk about it after, during our super secret meeting after the show.
Yes.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Peace out. Until next week.
Fare thee well.
Play nice. And I doubled the RAM, so I think it's a little happier now.
Ah, very good. That's the thing that makes PCs happy.
Yeah, now the lowest end piece is the graphics card, which is still relatively respectable.
As long as I can output something, this, but hey, who cares?
Yeah. Alright, let's get things rolling with some talkie points.
Excellent.
We don't really have overly serious ones for this week. Not that we ever do. But let's do talkie point number 1. How do you convey tone in dialogue? E.g., emotions, sarcasm, seriousness, joking, etc. I don't even remember what instigated that question. Probably because I've been going on a reading spree again.
Another reading page.
Yeah, I went through one book on Friday, one book yesterday, and I'm only 26 pages in the next one for today. That doesn't really count. Good afternoon, ladies and men folk, and anyone else who happens to join in and watch. You're joining us for Word Ninja's live episode 31. Good Lord. All right, joining me today is our IT extraordinaire, Calvin.
Hello, everybody.
And Justin is playing the Phantom, as he is currently busy with work shenanigans and probably will not be able to join us at all. And then you have your instigator of literary insanity, myself, Charles. Hello. All right. It's probably going to be a comparatively short episode since we only have a few people on today, but the show must go on, or whatnot.
Or something like that.
Something like that. Bear with us while we tinker with a few new hardware and software fiddly bits. I'm running off of a new mic and a semi-upgraded PC compared to the Mac, so hopefully things will play nice long enough for all of this to work.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Yeah. This thing does not have the most reliable internet connection, but it's pretty good lately. Hopefully it'll character and plot and makes for more fun reading, but it is hard to do. I tend to add facial expressions, like my character is smirking or scowling. Some can say that's a little tacky, depending on the style of writing that you're doing or just how much you do it. If you go to the level of Eye of Argon for facial details and how characters are acting, it gets a bit silly. And yes, it is an entertaining read, but you're not going to get that published very easily. there is a balance to be found somewhere amongst that all. And if you flesh your character out enough, then their general actions can help just build their personality. Like if your character disarms someone else with a pretentious flick of their sword and say, "You're not worthy of playing with." Something like that, if your character is built enough, can convey a lot of meaning and tone as to what the character is feeling, and that the person they're up against isn't really much of a threat, so they'll probably move the plot on comparatively quickly. Just little simple things like that can really add a lot of depth to a story and make for a much more engaging read. Or at least that's what I've found.
I've kind of found myself like making. Actually, recently brushed off my tablet since I've been kind of neglecting it because of the top of madness, and I opened up my Kindle app because I wanted to get a handle on some of the books that I've bought these last year. And good God, I bought a lot of books. I've come to realize that a 10-inch tablet, as awesome as it is not very useful. Sadly enough, I think it might be due to the fact that it's freaking heavy. But I'll figure out how to knock out all those books. Alright, now back to the talking point.
Oh, so that's what was eating up all my bandwidth. The live stream was playing in the background.
Oh!
That'll do it. Alright, that should make things a little cleaner.
Okay, good.
Did you want to take this talkie point on first, or shall I ramble for a while?
I'll let you ramble on this one for a little bit.
Alright. What were my notes? Let's see here. I feel like conveying tone as to characters' emotions or what they're feeling at any given time does help create a more in-depth
Light of trying to figure out how to convey tone. Like I understand, like adding your verbal facial expressions and things like that to like flavor like your character personality and things like that. I gotta go with your second point where you were saying like your actions of the character build the personality. For example, in the story that I wrote, one of the characters was like fairly aggressive, and basically her words like made up the tone of her aggressiveness, and also her actions, due to the fact that she liked to punch people a lot. So I gotta agree with you on helping build the character's personality, and that for me is what helps me like set dialogue on and things like that.
And for our viewers and listeners out there, what do you do in regards of conveying tone?